Oh man, so there we go. Let the credits roll now, yeah? I want to say I had fun doing this, but I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad game, and I knew I could do it without using magic, but I was really afraid of over leveling, which I really thought I did. In my test files, I had my party are already set to beat Sephiroth at probably like level 45. The problem is that the final bosses in this game give up so much XP that it's ridiculous. It's disgusting how much XP they give you in the end of the game. Especially if you want to use elixirs on those magic pots, which you should have plenty of. So you can magic pot grind and stuff like that. I don't know why the credits are going by so fast, but whatever. Yeah, I suppose I'll review this game since we're gonna just be watching credits, like I always do. Final Fantasy VII is a Final Fantasy game that, unfortunately, in my opinion, it did not age well. What do I mean by that? You play the first 6, and you can replay them, and they'll give you, even if you just play it normally, it'll give you an equal amount of challenge. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna go on limb and say 1 through 5 did that. Starting with Final Fantasy VI, the replay mechanics kind of leave you asking for more, and this is when you can start. And it was starting with this game where you could really start banning stuff like banning magic or banning certain materia and stuff like that. Same with Final Fantasy VI, you can ban certain things in that game too, which I am going to be playing, by the way. That's one of my. It's going to be next after this. So there you go. That's going to be my next playthrough coming up. So compared to the first 5, in my opinion, it didn't age well. It doesn't give you the same amount of challenge. So you almost have to limit stuff to make the replay value nice, to make it mean something. But I will give this game credit on being able to customize your players really well, which is nice. That gives replay value for me an 8 out of 10. Story, it's alright. I didn't understand, when I played this for the first time at 15, I really didn't know what, I kind of knew what it was about, but I didn't really know who the bad guy was. And 15 years later, there really is no bad guy that you can like really love to hate. Like Golbez, Final Fantasy IV, or X-Death in Final Fantasy V, or even the Emperor in Final Fantasy II. I mean, it doesn't give you a hateable villain, which I don't like. Every good JRPG needs to have a villain that you just cannot stand. And Final Fantasy VII did not deliver. Final Fantasy VIII kind of delivered, and Final Fantasy IX definitely delivered with Kuja. So that, and I mean, when it comes right down to it, we're chasing a guy who has daddy issues, pretty much, who has like a fake Oedipus complex for what he thinks is his mother because that's what his dad told him. I mean, they could have replaced Sephiroth with Hojo in this game, and they could have went way further with the storyline, in my opinion. And they could have had Sephiroth join you and stuff like that. Same thing with Dyne in this game. When I first played this game, and the Dyne thing happened, I was like saying, okay, me and my buddy, we were both playing, and I said to him, I'm like, all right, what materia are we gonna give him? What are we gonna do with him? Because he's gonna join us, and he didn't. And I was like, what the hell? So they left a lot of really crucial, emotionally investing parts, or we'll say, potential emotionally gripping parts out of this game, which I really don't care for. I'm giving the story a 5 out of 10. It's barely average. It's not even there. The gameplay, I'm only going to give it a knock for having your players be too customizable. Everyone can do pretty much everything. They don't have special abilities like in Final Fantasy 4 and 6. It's pretty much like Final Fantasy 5, where, you know, here's some materia, go mold your players, and that's about it. And, you know, fight, use magic, all that good stuff. It was a good concept, but it was not really practiced well. I think they mastered it in Final Fantasy 9, to be quite honest, where they gave you common abilities that you could equip that are just passive, and then they have active abilities that are specific to the player. So, compared against Final Fantasy 6 and 9 and 4, I will give it a 7 out of 10, slightly above average. Graphics, beautiful for a JRPG made in '97. We're gonna compare this against Suikoden and Wild Arms. You play Suikoden and Wild Arms, and you'll be like, okay, these graphics are blocky, they suck. So compared to those, this game rises well above those two games. 9 out of 10, nearly perfect. Yeah. Overall, I'm gonna give this game 7 out of 10. It's slightly above average in my opinion. And there's Red, by the way, and that's his children. This is 500 years after. Yeah. And keep in mind, this game has spawned sequels and other side games, if you could call them that aren't really that great. But they could have made a direct sequel. They could have made probably a couple, but they decided not to, and I think they should have, but whatever. Yeah. It's the circle of life. No. It is the Lion King. Red is Mufasa. That's the main. That's what you should take away from this. The ruins of Midgar became a forest. Okay, sweet. Awesome. Final Fantasy VII. Beautiful. Side quests and stuff, I'm gonna do them. The weapons and whatever, sure, I suppose. But give me some time, cause it's gonna take a while for me to get all the chocobo bullshit, and it's gonna take some time for me to level my players properly to where I can beat the weapons. Yeah. Oh, and they rip off Final Fantasy 4 with the you know, stars going towards you, mode 7 style here, which is kind of cute, I suppose. So yeah, we'll be doing some side quest stuff still. Gonna beat the optional weapons. I am gonna demonstrate stat maxing, which I forgot to do, which I'm probably gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna just do that tomorrow actually, and then I'll go from there. So I'm gonna want to max my stats so I can beat the optional weapons at a much lower level than you think you need to be at. So there you go. Awesome. Final Fantasy theme for the win. Hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. Final Fantasy VI will be coming your way probably in about a week or so. I want to see which Final Fantasy VI I want to play. Because I got the GBA one, but I also have the Ted Woolsey-ified one that was made for the Super NES way back in 1995. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see what I want to play and how I want to do things. So there you go. Awesome. Final Fantasy VII, no magic run. Hope you enjoyed hope you enjoyed it. Side quests coming soon. This is the Big Jew telling you to keep being awesome. Peace.